ever since the 2003 Rubik's Cube World Championships. The question has echoed throughout the entire community, a question that challenges what it truly means to be the best. Records have been broken, championships have been won, yet this debate refuses to die. Some believe the answer is simple, obvious even. Others argue it's far more complicated. But after all these years, we're still searching for an answer. At the heart of this debate lie two records: the 3x3 world record average and the 3x3 world record single. On November 24th, 2018, history was made. In a moment that shocked the entire cubing world, Yusheng-Du did the impossible, solving the Rubik's Cube in just 3.47 seconds. A time so unthinkable at that point in time that even now, almost 7 years later, only 5 people have ever broken it. At that time, it was almost universally considered that Max and Felix were the two best cubers, and if anyone would break a world record, it would be them. No one even considered that an 18-year-old cuber from China who averaged 8 seconds would get a world record. But it happened anyway. In one of the luckiest scrambles we've ever seen, Yusheng-Du got a 3.47 second solve, approximately 0.75 seconds faster than the previous world record. The fact that a cuber not even in the top 100 could break the 3x3 world record average by that margin is just insane. Now this is a very extreme example, and this will most likely never happen again. But this also isn't the only example, because only a few months ago, we saw Aaron Hyun come scarily close to the world record. But should a single lucky moment define who's the best cuber in the world? It shouldn't, right? But it does anyway, because when people think of the Rubik's Cube world record, they think of the fastest solve ever. The single world record is the flashiest. It's the one that grabs headlines and gets media attention. You see, go into Google and type 3x3 world record. What do you find? Single. Almost every result points to the single world record. Not the most consistent cuber. Not the person dominating competitions. Now, obviously the person that holds a single is most likely a very good cuber. But as we've seen time and time again, it's not always the cuber who's considered the best in the world. You ever notice how the fastest sprinter in the world isn't determined by one lucky step, or how the greatest chess player isn't crowned after one brilliant move? Yet in cubing, one record-breaking solve, one moment of absolute perfection practically defines the sport. But step inside the cubing world, and you'll find that the real test of skill isn't just one solve. It's about something much harder. The world record average. 5 solves. 5 completely different scrambles. The best and worst get dropped, and the middle 3 are average. Think about Yiheng's 4 or 5 average last year. Unlike Yusheng-Du 347, this wasn't just one solve that played out perfectly. He had to solve at world record speed multiple times in a row. Now imagine if Usain Bolt's entire career was defined by one race where everything went perfectly. Sure, it might have been the fastest sprint ever, but would that alone make him the greatest? So does this make the world record single meaningless? If anything, it represents the pinnacle of what's achievable in cubing. It's the ultimate what-if scenario in cubing, when a perfect scramble meets an even better execution. That's why it gets headlines. That's why people remember it. It's the dream, the moment of perfection that keeps cubers chasing for faster times. But if we're actually trying to decide who's the best, the answer might lie somewhere else. Look at Felix Zemdegs, for example. He didn't just break one record and then disappear. He dominated for nearly a decade. Competition after competition, solve after solve. He proved himself over and over again. And that's not just in cubing. It's in other sports too. Usain Bolt wasn't one of the greats because of one race. Michael Jordan wasn't the best because of one NBA championship. And Tom Brady wasn't the greatest because of one Super Bowl, but 7. But when it comes to deciding which is actually better, the average or the single, while the average reflects consistency and ability to perform under pressure, the single is often more about luck and the perfect scramble. So on behalf of the entire cubing community, I stand behind the best 3x3 world record, the one that proves who is actually the best cuber. And it is average. Honestly, it was kind of obvious because it just shows who's the best cuber and who can perform solve after solve. And as we think about what truly defines the best moment in cubing, it's not just about the perfect moment, it's about consistent effort, dedication, and heart. That's something that we can all apply to our own lives, even if you're not a cuber. In fact, we're reminded of this truth in Colossians 3:23, where it says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not human masters." Anyways, that's a wrap. See you in the next one.